Okay, y'all, I'm gonna try to do this by memory. But if I have to stop and pull this, I apologize, but I got this. We got this, right? We got this? It feels good. Inner city blues make me want to holler. To fight the power. Wow. I cannot believe that 25 years have gone by so fast. It seems like yesterday, as a 26 going on 27-year-old African-American female, I was grooving to the song. It feels good. Yeah, it feels good. Oh, it feels good. By Tony. I was struggling to try to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew I wanted to teach drama to high school students. Interstage right, Teach for America. I applied and was accepted into the second core of this young and up-and-coming company. Next thing you know, I was packing my bags in late June 1991 and boarded a Greyhound bus in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to take a 3-day bus ride to Los Angeles, California. From July 1991 until eternity, I will always be known in TFA as Leslie A. Jones, Los Angeles, 1991. I was always a politically aware person, but you know what? I am going to double back because I need to say this. My life changed the summer of 1991, and it will never be the same. This became the summer of the reawakening of me. I was always a politically aware person, but in my household, my parents were into John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr., and my oldest brother and I, we were into Malcolm X, Robert F. Kennedy, and the Black Panther Party. But whereas my brother could express this side of himself, at the time, I could not. It took me a move to South Central LA and becoming friends with colleagues that were at least 5 years younger than me for me to allow myself the freedom and the courage to let my inner political consciousness come to the forefront. What I did not expect is for me to be in the middle of one of the most expensive uprisings in United States history that shook me in my inner being into my inner core. On my own and at TFA's Summer Institute at the University of Southern California, I saw movies that would inspire and pump me up for teaching. Stand and Deliver, Lean on Me, and Boys in the Hood. Guess which two movies intrigued me the most? Stand and Deliver and Boys in the Hood. I knew that for my first year of teaching, the fall of 1991, that I was going to be teaching in a neighborhood in the LA region that had mostly Latino and African American students. I needed to do my research on the demographics of my neighborhood right away. However, I did not do a thorough research, because if I had, I would have known that the city of Los Angeles was a powder keg just waiting to explode, and the Rodney King beating, March 3rd, 1991, lit the switch. I had no clue what I was in the middle of April 29th, 1992. But I know one thing, I had never been so shocked, scared, confused, and angry in my life. I was angry because Rodney King did not get justice in the first trial. I was shocked, confused, and scared that night, and spent the night underneath my bed on the phone while the boarding house I lived in smelled like smoke. I could hear bullets flying by, glass breaking, and helicopters swirling above the neighborhood where I lived in. The Los Angeles riots of April 29th through May 4th, 1992, was the awakening of me seeing my neighborhood and neighborhoods like it in a totally different light. I had to do more research. I had to informally interview people so that I could fully understand what was going on with Los Angeles and figure out for myself what I needed to do to be a part of the solution to help LA heal and cities like LA heal. When I lived in LA, I bought into the Hollywood dream, but I never lived the Hollywood dream the entire 8 years I lived in California. I could not afford to. I lived like a lot of the students I taught back then. I lived in a boarding house room and then a cottage behind the boarding house because I could not afford an apartment or a house on a beginning teacher's salary. At times, I could not eat. And I could definitely empathize with my students and do what Marvin Gaye's song, Inner City Blues, says. Oh, it makes me wanna holler and throw up both my hands. Yeah, it makes me wanna holler and throw up both my hands. 25 years later, reflecting on my 8 years in LA, 1992 became the awakening of me understanding what social justice really means. Social justice means to me, everyone must have equal access to a basic standard of living. Everyone must have food, clothing, shelter, employment opportunities, as well as education. Everyone must be treated with dignity and respect. And everyone's voices, they must be heard and not silenced. Living in Los Angeles made me a bigger and better person. If one can live through the Menendez brothers trials, 3 earthquakes, with the Northridge earthquake being the biggest one, the LA riots, the O.J. Simpson trials, the LAPD Police Department's Rampart Division scandal, and the day-to-day hassles at times of being a person of color living in Los Angeles, yes, I was stopped twice by officers of Los Angeles County. You can live through anything. 25 years later, I am still a teacher who has been living in Virginia for 17 years. And I hold near and dear to me in my heart the time I spent in Los Angeles, Inglewood, Pasadena, and Altadena, California. I would not be the social justice activist I am today if it wasn't for the adults and students I met back in those California private and public schools. October 30th and October 31st, 2015, I directed the show Twilight Los Angeles 1992 by Anna Devere Smith with a hardcore West Coast flavor at the high school I currently teach at. From the music to the videos to the clothing, I reenacted the Los Angeles that I know and love, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I used West Coast gangster rap throughout the entire play and used 30 seconds of the original versions of the songs. I even slipped "fuck the police" in there for 10 seconds. Well, I was so turned up, I did not even know if I was going to have a job that Monday morning because the bigwigs came to see my show that weekend. But I tell you what, I don't care. And you know why? Because I just don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care, and I didn't care who came to see my show and who didn't. I didn't care if they liked the subject matter or not. And I definitely was not trying to direct a kid-friendly show. I am sick and tired of apologizing for being a beautiful, strong African-American female. I wanted the people in the audience to feel uncomfortable about race relations in the United States of America. And I didn't care who liked it and who didn't. Whether I am advocating for my students, for people of color, the LGBT community, or my union members' rights, I always have in the back of my mind a few sentences from Public Enemy's Fight the Power. Gotta give us what they, and I messed this up, I am so sorry. Gotta give us what we want. Hey, gotta give us what we need. Hey, our freedom of speech is freedom or death. We gotta fight the powers that be. I feel this is what social justice is all about. And this is what the people in Los Angeles were saying, April 29th through May 4th, 1992. Are we really listening? Or are we still fucking sleeping? Yeah. Thank you.